Hello, how are you? I am Brett Fox and I am here to talk to you about the most common marketing mistakes that entrepreneurs and CEOs make. So if you see me looking down like I am right now, that just means I'm looking at my notes. But let me start with a simple question to you. Let's say you had a machine and you could insert dollars into this machine. Let's say I put $5 into this machine and I could reliably get $10 back. It's a pretty cool machine, isn't it? Well, if you could do that, wouldn't you just keep putting money into this machine as fast as you could? I know I would. And when you think about your marketing programs that you have inside of your company, that's your goal. It's no more complex than that, is that if you can get a positive return on your marketing efforts, you want to stuff as many dollars as you can into your marketing as quickly as you can into your marketing, because that's how you're going to make a lot of money. And that's the way to think about marketing, is that you want to get this positive return on your investment. So without further ado, let's jump in to the 5 ways that you cannot get this positive return out of your marketing effort, and we'll talk a little bit about how you can alleviate each of these issues as well. So, before I get into this, let me tell you a brief story about a CEO that I worked with before he became a CEO. And I think this is indicative of a lot of people's misgivings and misunderstandings about why do you need marketing. And I'll never forget this. We were walking out of a customer one day, the two of us. This is one of the company's biggest customers, multi-million dollar account the company had. And he looked at me, and I was espousing all the different marketing programs and advertising programs we were doing. And he looked at me and he said, "I don't understand why we need marketing. We have all these salespeople. Why on earth are we spending all this money on marketing?" And he wasn't kidding. I mean, I was kind of stunned by the answer, because to me it was just so intuitive and so obvious. But for him, somebody who had come from a purely engineering background, had been managing engineers his whole career, had never been really out in the field, had never visited customers, it just didn't make any sense. You have salespeople, they should know the accounts. Well, the reality is that, as any of us know, even the best salesperson doesn't know an account completely. And this was, by the way, this meeting happened probably 20 years ago. So you can imagine in the last 20 years how much more difficult it has become for salespeople to do their jobs. It's harder and harder. The customer controls much more of the conversation than they did back in the day. And back in the day, salespeople had a lot more power because they were bringing huge amounts of value and huge amounts of information with them. In today's world, a customer can go on the internet, have this informal relationship with you before you even know it, and then they call you in to do the selling. So thus the power of marketing, thus the power of advertising has even increased in the past years. So if you don't know how to market and you don't know how to advertise, it is very difficult to get your business known. It is very difficult to sell. So it is crucial that you figure these things out. So what's the first big mistake beyond just not understanding that you need to do it? Well, it's pretty similar. It's essentially you don't have a plan. And I've seen this one many times. In fact, this past week, I was talking with an entrepreneur who did not have any plan for his marketing at all. And he was wondering, why is my business struggling? And I was going kind of line item by line item through everything that was going on with his business. And when we came to marketing advertising, well, what's your plan? He says, well, we have a website. And I said, well, what are you doing with the website? No answer. What type of advertising are you doing? No answer. I asked him this question: how do you expect customers to find you? And again, no answer. You've got to have a plan. The plan doesn't need to be complex. I have included, by the way, with this video, a very simple spreadsheet that you can use, which will help you organize all of your marketing and advertising activities, so you can take a look at that as well. What is mistake number 2? It is jumping from plan to plan, and you see this again with inexperienced CEOs, inexperienced marketers who again have never done advertising and never done marketing. And here's the scenario, and I worked with a CEO who fell into this problem. The scenario is pretty simple. You start off with a plan and you say, okay, we're going to advertise on Facebook, and this particular CEO is running ads on Facebook. And the ads are running for about 2 or 3 days, and I had a way to kind of see what was going on with the ads, and suddenly the ads were down. So the next time I got on the phone with the CEO, I said, what happened to the ads? Well, I stopped them. Why'd you stop them? Well, they weren't converting. And I said, how'd you know? I ran them for 2 or 3 days. That's not long enough. You have to give your marketing a chance. And it's kind of like a fine wine. If you open a bottle of wine, you don't just drink it all right when you open it. You let it breathe. And the same thing happens with marketing and advertising. You need to give your marketing a chance, and you kind of want to go through a little bit of a phase-by-phase process with it. The first phase is test. And you got to test for a good month at least before you know whether a program is working or not working and how to optimize that program. But if you jump in 2 or 3 days or even a week and you haven't given yourself enough chances to get enough impressions, to get enough statistical data on what's going on, you will jump from plan to plan, and you're just fooling yourself and you're hurting yourself, because you could have an excellent beginning marketing program that you're just shooting in the foot. You have to give it time. So test first. Once you've proven out your testing, then start building it out later. What is mistake number 3? Let us pull it out here from my magical script. Mistake number 3, it's having too many channels at once. So again, it's the same concept. If you're running ads on Facebook, and then you're running ads on Google, and then you add in print advertising, and you've got ads on TV all at once when you start, that is a recipe for disaster. Think of the stair-step approach to marketing and advertising. You're on the first rung of the stairs, and that may be running ads through Google as your starting point. Once you master Google, well, then maybe you go on to running ads on Facebook. Then maybe it's in various industry publications that are central to your business. Maybe then you go on to other advertising mediums, but you start with one, master it, add another one, master it, add another one, master it. Step by step by step. It keeps it simple, keeps it easy, and keeps it very measurable in terms of what you're doing. Which brings us to number 4. Let me ask you a question. In today's world, why aren't you measuring your results? You have to measure your results. It is criminal, with all the measuring tools that we have at our disposal today, with Google Analytics, with spreadsheets, with everything that we can do to specifically know the exact ROI on everything that we send out there into the world. If you're not doing that, then shame on you, because you're missing a huge opportunity. Because you can measure specifically. Let's go all the way back to the cash machine example at the beginning of this video. I said marketing is a cash machine, but to know, let's say you're getting $10 out, you've got to know how much money you're putting in to know whether or not that cash machine is working the way you want it to. If it's working well, marketing is like a game of arbitrage, and that's what you want it to be. If it's not working well, then you need to know how to tweak it and fix it. So measure your results. There's no excuse in today's world for not measuring your results, so do it, please. It drives me insane when I see people not do that. The final marketing mistake, not spending enough money on your marketing. And again, I'm going to go right back to that cash machine. So let's say we're spending $1,000 a month on our advertising, just to make up a number. And for every $1,000 we put in, we generate, let's say, $5,000 in revenue. And let's say that our costs on the product that we're making are $1,000. So that means $4,000 of profit. Why aren't you then upping that marketing spend to then $2,000 a month and then $3,000 a month until you find out when that incremental dollar you put in no longer gives you more incremental dollars back? That's the way to run a good marketing program, because with $1,000 I'm generating $5,000 in revenue. What happens if I put $5,000 in? Do I generate now $15,000 or $20,000 in revenue? You want to keep upping that number, because if you're generating positive returns on your marketing, it truly is a cash machine. That's the way to think about your marketing. That's the way to make it work for you. So look, I hope this has been helpful for you. I have added in, as I said, a very simple spreadsheet so that you can track your marketing program and you can know exactly what you're spending. If you have a question for me, I am happy to answer it. You can send it to me at brett@brettjfox.com. And yes, I do look at every single email I get, and I try and respond to every single one I can. So with that, have a great day.